This election cycle, the Trump volunteers have knocked on 1 million doors a week. The Biden campaign has knocked on 0 doors. They have taken more of a scorched earth approach to campaigning. Laura Ingraham and Candace Owens discuss how this is working out for the Democrats.
In the last 24 hours in Philadelphia, we've seen the depravity of Black Lives Matter movement, and it's reared its ugly head. They've hurled obscenities at police and, of course, Trump supporters.
Why? Why? I said why? Racist, dirty. Racist, dirty. Racist, dirty. Racist, dirty.
Here we see BLM and anti-Trump protesters kneeling in an active intersection, blocking traffic of law-abiding, productive citizens just trying to actually support their families. And to cap it all off, they harassed a bunch of diners.
You tired of hearing the truth? Are you tired of hearing the truth? Yes, you are. Enjoy your privilege.
With acts like that occurring nearly every night somewhere in the United States, is it any surprise that public support for Black Lives Matter has dropped 12 points since June? Joining me now is Candace Owens, founder of the Blexit movement, author of the new book, Blackout. Candace, will Democrats end up, at some point, regretting aligning themselves with this group?
Absolutely. We're seeing it right now. They have completely overplayed their hand. They gave it too much time. In the beginning, Americans were apprehensive. They weren't sure. Maybe perhaps this race narrative was real. Maybe this was really about police brutality. Maybe this really was America striving towards equality. And now the truth is standing in everybody's face. The Black Lives Matter movement is not striving for equality. In fact, they're striving for entitlement. They want special entitlements. They want white people to stop and raise their fists in the air and salute them when they go into diners. As if it's the 1950s, the things that we would see white racist Americans doing in the 1950s, we're now seeing Black Lives Matter activists do at cafes towards white people. People are waking up to the fact that this movement is really about Marxism. It's about the undoing of America. What they're trying to do is really sink all of the systems that we have in place. They just want to disrupt. That's all it's about. They want to disrupt, they want to cause hate, and they want to rapidly spread it and then point the finger somehow at Trump and say this is only happening because it's Trump's America.
Right. And Candace, this all comes out also when we have a discussion about how to really help people who are in need, including African Americans. And school choice, or educational freedom, as we like to call it, is at the heart of this. Real school choice. But Biden has never been for it. Watch.
NEA members have pushed back against what we think are very misguided school reforms, like charter schools. You know how we feel about charter schools. We'd like to know how you feel about charter schools.
No privately funded charter school would receive, or private charter school would receive, a penny of federal money. None.
He agrees with the NEA and the AFT on any of these school choice initiatives. They want to kill them off. And if they can use COVID to try to shut down some of these schools, they'll do that too.
Absolutely. And the reason for that is simple. The government wants to raise the children. They like the fact that you're seeing across these inner cities so many kids are failing. I mean, it's unbelievable. You saw me talk about this when I testified in Congress a few months ago. 75% of black boys in California cannot pass a basic literacy exam. That is stunning. Everybody should be talking about that. That means the public school system is failing black Americans. You have that happening in inner cities. You have that happening in Baltimore, where they can't find a single child across 5 schools that's proficient in reading or mathematics. And yet the Democrat Party says we want to keep these public schools in place. Why? Because they're able to replace hard academics like mathematics, like engineering, with these soft psychological conditioning courses like the 1619 Project. They want to teach your kids about race and feelings, and this stuff is not going to get them ahead in the world. In fact, it's going to send them backwards, and that's exactly what the Democrat Party is after, Laura.
Candace, do you believe that these celebrities like LeBron James and Cardi B with her lovely new #1 song, Filthy Filthy, that they're using their platforms to push a political agenda? Does that affect the African-American psyche in the United States to move the needle further toward Democrats, or are people kind of beginning to tune that all out when they see less money in their pockets?
You know, I think that Cardi B and LeBron James, they are responsible for a lot of the disruption that we're seeing in this nation, and they do these things unwittingly. I genuinely think that they do not understand the economics behind what they are preaching or the consequences behind what they are preaching. And unfortunately, when you have this sort of angry rhetoric, when you have LeBron James saying that, you know, we're literally being hunted, when you have Cardi B saying that Trump's America is racist, at the same time she's attacking me because I have a white husband, what ends up happening is you're raising a bunch of kids who believe that in this country they can't make it. When they see someone like LeBron James, who is building a $100 million mansion in Bel Air at the moment, say to you that we're literally being hunted, we being black people, by white people, it makes them feel helpless and like they need to get up and do something about it. And it leads to these, you know, devastating, staggering crime rates that we're seeing, the increase in these inner cities, because they believe that. Unfortunately, you're seeing individuals get arrested for things like we saw in Los Angeles County. They'll find one person, he will be arrested, but there is an entire ecosystem of people that deserve to serve time. Politicians, the media henchmen that have perpetuated this idea that black Americans are being hunted and caused all of this corruption that
Candace,
we see today.
Yeah, Candace, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wish we had an hour with you. But I got to say, they're teaching young people this.
Yes.
A school assignment that just came to my attention about, well, this is Black Lives Matter art, and we're going to study that, or we're going to, oh, okay, I guess, but meanwhile, can all you kids write a decent paper without your parents writing it for you? I'm talking about white, black, I mean, just the basics. Let's all learn the basics. Candace, come back soon, and thank you so much for your leadership on this.